Hey, how's it going guys? Ricky Summer here, and today I've come back in time to answer almost 40 of your questions. Cue the intro. Alright, so I've had a couple of requests to do a Q&A video. So last week I threw a poll up in the community tab on YouTube to gauge your interest and get some questions, and to my surprise we got 40 replies to that post. So we're gonna do a Q&A video. Let's friggin' go.
Are you going to join the partner program for Warframe?
Yeah, so I actually have already applied. I found out about the partner program, I want to say earlier in the year. I think someone told me during one of my streams, and it was locked at the time. It was closed because they're rejigging it, I think. But it's just opened up in the last month or so. So I applied a little while ago, applied a couple weeks ago, and I'm still just waiting for approval. But yeah, it seems pretty exciting. I hope that it doesn't result in me just like getting lots of free stuff because, I want to earn it myself. But if it means that I can get, access to some stuff and show you some stuff a little early, why not? That could be fun.
What are your thoughts on the voluntary human extinction movement?
Oh God, what even is this? Hold on. Voluntary human extinction movement is an environmental movement that calls for all people to abstain from reproduction to cause the gradual voluntary extinction of human... Alright, we're getting into the heavy questions early on. I think humanity has a tendency to overcorrect. Whenever we do something wrong, everyone wants to do the complete opposite extreme of that. And like with everything in life, there is a balance to be struck. So I won't be joining the movement.
I love the attitude you have in your Warframe videos. Are you always that upbeat? It's honestly quite infectious. Wishing you all the best, my dude. Loving all your content. Oh yeah.
Oh shucks, oh you. No, I'm not always this upbeat, but it's not an act. So the way I behave in my videos is probably most akin to how I am when I'm teaching. Or when you've got new friends and you're close enough that you can joke around with them, but not so close that you can be depressed in front of them. Kind of like that, But I do believe in trying to be positive, not in a forced positivity kind of way, but I do try to look at the bright side of every situation, because I honestly believe there is a silver lining in almost anything. Or if something bad happens, you can turn it around, you can use it as an opportunity, it's a learning experience. That's just what I'm about.
You like to do covers of songs and make them synthwave, right? Do you take song requests?
Yeah, okay, so taking requests is something I've been interested in, but I want to be careful with it. I don't just want to open the floodgates to anything. I have to think about the algorithm and what my channel's about. So at the moment it's about gaming, and it has historically been about gaming. I would like to put more music into the channel, but at least to start with, I think it's a really good idea to keep it connected to gaming. So covers of songs from games, or I don't know, I'll figure something out. But yeah, sorry, I won't be taking requests just yet.
What's the game you had most fun with?
Ooh, this is a question. Let me check my Steam played hours, because honestly, this is gonna be a multi-part. There's more than one answer to this for sure. So straight up, I think it's pretty safe to say that my favorite game of all time is The Witcher 3. I have a horrible tendency to start games, love them, but not finish them. The Witcher I've played, I think 6 times all the way through, with the DLC as well. It's such a long game. Actually, I feel like playing it again, but who's got the time, So The Witcher 3 is up there for sure. So you might be surprised by this, but Factorio. Factorio very well might have the most hours for me on Steam. Hold up, this is Editing Rick, and I just remembered a couple of games from my childhood. The original Dungeon Keeper. Incredible. Also, Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance 2. I don't know if it has a cult following or if it's well liked or what, but I freaking love that game to death. I played it through so many times. I still get a craving to play it. Unlike any other game, there's actually a remake of it coming out, I think this year. I'm very excited to play it. I think it's just called Dungeons and Dragons Dark Alliance. God, I hope it's good.
Have you seen our video benefits on YouTube? How about cooperating with them to do your cover of Sleeping in the Cold below?
So I hadn't seen these guys. D-Nexus, right? I hadn't seen these guys, but I just looked them up. A really interesting concept. Yeah, I'm not sure how we'd collaborate, but maybe it's possible in the future. I'll keep an eye out for a means to contact them. With these sort of things, it's usually best not to just be like, hey, yo, stranger, let's do a collaboration. Maybe I'll follow them on Twitter and we'll like engage a little bit and see how we go.
What are the most important things you need to do as content creator? Can we train them things?
All right, 3 most important things for content creation. Number 1, and I cannot stress this enough, consistency. Above all else, consistency. Find your niche, find what you enjoy and what you were good at doing, and then just pump it out consistently. Doesn't have to be every day, doesn't even have to be every week. I choose to do at least 1 video a week because that fits in with my schedule, but whatever works for you. If you can do only 1 video a month, that's fine, but make sure it's every month and try to make it like at least the same week of that month. You know, it doesn't have to be the same day every month, but keep it consistent because the algorithm likes that and people like that. Something that a lot of us forget is the algorithm is based on our habits. You know, the algorithm isn't just some arbitrary system. Yeah, it sucks sometimes, but it's not just some arbitrary system that's like, hey, this is the way it is, and, you know, you just have to follow it for no reason. The algorithm is the algorithm because people watch videos in a certain way, they have certain habits, and so that is why it is so important to stay consistent. 2 more things. Look, this is going to sound really generic because everyone says this, but be yourself. You can be a version of yourself, absolutely. You can play a character that is based on yourself, but you know, you shouldn't try to mimic someone else. You can be inspired by them, but you know, don't go into it being like, hey, I want to be the next PewDiePie. You know, be the next you. Look at what other people are doing and do your own version of it. Because we've already got PewDiePie, we've already got Markiplier, or whoever the hell else, whoever you watch. We've already got those people. What we haven't got is you. Three main things. Content is king, as they say. We can often get stuck into this trap of believing that we need the best equipment straight up. You know, I can't be a successful YouTuber until I have a really good camera and a really good mic, this and that. Start out with whatever you have and then upgrade a little bit at a time. The videos, the content is far more important than the quality of the videos. That being said, what you absolutely should prioritize before anything else is audio quality. People will forgive a shitty looking video. They will not forgive horrible microphone quality. You know what I mean?
When can content creators start making money from their videos?
So it seems to change every so often. I think at the moment you need 10,000 views and 1,000 subscribers before you can start monetizing. That being said, you don't have to rely just on ad revenue. In fact, ad revenue from YouTube is really not very good. There's lots of examples of really small niche YouTubers that most of us never see, but they service a very specific niche that is very profitable. So they are a lot more likely to get specific sponsorships.
Some people say content creating is harder than normal job. Is that true?
Yes and no. So the benefit of a normal job is, of course, a regular income, the fact that you can go home after 5 o'clock and relax and not have to worry about the job, hopefully, but unfortunately that's changing a little bit. Just the job landscape and job culture in general is changing. But, you know, a traditional 9 to 5 job, after 5 o'clock, you're done. That's it. You're out. You're clocking out. You got your weekends off. You can spend time with your family. You can do whatever you want, play video games. It's great. With content creation and also the arts, music and whatnot, there's no downtime, or it's really easy to get stuck into this routine of having no downtime. So in that respect, it is harder. You have to do more work. Absolutely. There is more work involved. However, that work is probably going to be more fun. So you don't go into content creation, you don't go into music, you don't go into art or anything like that for the sake of making money efficiently, but you'll be making money doing something that you enjoy, hopefully. So if you don't enjoy the process, I would not recommend going into content creation or art or music or anything like that. That being said, just to clear up any possible misconceptions, I'm not a full-time content creator. I do this mostly as a hobby and a little side hustle.
What music do you listen to other than synthwave?
Yeah, so oddly enough, I don't actually listen to a lot of synthwave. I used to, but not so much anymore. I think synthwave is going in a direction that's I'm a little less into at the moment. But previously, I was really inspired by Power Glove, for example. They did the soundtrack for Far Cry Blood Dragon. Other than synthwave, I actually take inspiration from and I listen a lot to just 80s music, 80s power ballads. I've actually got a Spotify playlist called the Bay City Hype Mix that I just run through, and it's like, White Snake and Toto and all that sort of stuff. In terms of newer music, most of my new music exposure and knowledge comes from teaching. So for those of you who don't know, I teach singing, guitar, keyboard at a few places around Melbourne. So, you have teenage girls come in and they want to learn a Taylor Swift song or Driver's License by whoever that's by. So that's how I get exposed to the new stuff. And actually, I find myself kind of liking some of Taylor Swift's latest stuff. Like, what's that song? Don't Blame Me is kind of a bop. It's like a little bit synthwave and a little bit blues, and it's kind of damn, but just in general, usually I listen to the old 80s stuff. Journey is one of my all-time favorite bands. So good.
What is your mood every day like? Other than Pump Irons, of course.
Yeah, the pump irons. So I wouldn't really describe it as a routine. It's kind of all over the place. I'm still working out what works best for my body and, more importantly, my schedule. Like we talked about earlier, music, content creation, my schedule's all over the place. So I exercise when I can. So what I'm trying to do, what I'm working towards, is going for a little walk or a jog in the morning. But other than that, I really like doing weights. I feel like it gives me energy. I feel energized after it. And I like the feeling of, getting the pump. So whenever I have like a spare 5 minutes, I'll hop on my Total Gym 1000. Yes, the thing that's endorsed by Chuck Norris. It's the one that you lift your own weight on, right? I got it like 10 years ago. So I've got that on the highest setting, and I'll just do some rowing or some whatever the shit with crunches and whatnot. I do a lot of crunches because I want to tone my core a little bit, but I really probably should do a little more research and do a few more exercises that encompass other elements. But look, we'll get there.
Have you ever wanted to do missions with some of your Twitch chat or YouTube people?
Yeah, so actually in the streams, we do that often. Usually every stream, I'll bring viewers in chat in and we'll play some missions. I do my best to rotate people out so that everyone who wants to play gets a chance, even if it's just one mission. In terms of playing with the YouTube people, I would like to. It's just a matter of working out, like the logistics, how we're going to make that work with time zones and schedule and whatnot.
How often do you cut your hair?
Yeah, so not often enough. It's roughly every 8 weeks, but I often let it go too long. I don't go by time, I go by, it's feeling a little long, time to get a haircut.
Favorite dish not originating in your region?
Okay, this is going to be real easy for me because my region is technically Australia, but I am of Italian descent, so I really friggin' love Italian food. So I could technically get away with saying pizza or lasagna because it's not in my region. Those would be my favorite dishes. In terms of like something that is not Italian cuisine or Australian, no, you know what? Burritos. Easy.
What's your opinion on the latest dev stream? Some pretty cool stuff in there.
Yeah, so I'm really glad I watched it. I went to check the VOD because chat told me that I got a shout out for my Sleeping in the Cold Below cover in that dev stream, and I did, and that was very cool. Rebecca thought that my cover was cool. But it was a really good dev stream. Regardless, we got a little more information about Sisters of Parvos. So they're not called Queen Pins, they're Sisters of Parvos, which is pretty rad. I'm excited to see what they're all about. Like, I'm really actually super pogged up about that whole thing, even just from a lore perspective. Yes, I like the concept of the Lich system, or the Nemesis, whatever they're calling it. But that aside, I never really liked the Corpus until I played the Call of the Tempestari quest, and now the Corpus seem really, really interesting to me. So I want to know more about the Sisters of Parvos and what's going on with that. Yes, I can't friggin' wait, man. Can't friggin' wait.
What is the first country you would visit after the pandemic has died down? And have you played Disco Elysium?
Yeah, so I'm not usually one for travel. I've been a couple places. I went to mainland Italy when I was a kid, and I've been to Montreal. in Canada a couple years ago. But yeah, I'm not much of a jet setter. That being said, one day I would really love to visit New Zealand because, I mean, even just like it's beautiful over there. Yeah, absolutely. But I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan, so, you know. And I really want to visit the motherland, Sicily. I've never been to Sicily, and it sounds like it's amazing over there, so I'd love to see that. Hey, yo, it's Editing Rick again. I totally forgot to answer this Disco Elysium question. So I have played Disco Elysium, but it's one of those games that I really like but haven't finished. I played maybe 10 to 15 hours of it so far, and I love the atmosphere. I love the twisted sense of humor, and the character progression really intrigues me, even if I don't fully understand it yet. It's one of the games that are high up on my list of games to finish when I actually find the time to do so.
Got any cool stories about living in Australia?
Yeah, so this is a tough one because I feel like I probably don't appreciate what you might consider to be extraordinary about living in Australia because I've lived here all my life. That being said, let's go for something really easy, the wildlife. I happen to live in an area that is kind of on the edge of the suburbs and bordering on what you might consider to be the bush. So I see a lot of wild animals around here. I had a wombat in my front yard not too long ago, routinely get blue tongue lizards, and yeah, they're great guys. Echidnas, I've seen echidnas all the time, just really cute, spiny boys hiding in bushes and whatnot in the front yard. I see kangaroos as I'm driving all the time. Once I saw a kangaroo just straight up jumping down the street, down my street. So that's pretty common, you know, but that is not common to every area. If you live in the city or you live a little further into the city in the deep suburbs, you're probably not going to see that sort of stuff.
What is the thing you enjoy about Warframe the most and why? Also, favorite frame?
Oof. The one thing I enjoy most about Warframe, it's the loop. It's the progression and the loop. The fact that the gameplay is so easy and fun moment to moment, because it's a power fantasy, let's face it. The gameplay is simple and fun, but you can use your brain a little bit to figure out how to make that more interesting in the modding section of it, and then just the way the progression works. Yeah, there's random elements, but if you want to get a specific frame, you can target your efforts towards that frame. I really like that. I really like the progression of Warframe. Favorite frame and why? So at the moment, Protea is my favorite Warframe. But before Protea, it was Nidus. Nidus is just like, even, I gotta play Nidus again. It's been a hot minute, but there is no feeling better in Warframe than building up a bunch of stacks in survival and then just going nuts. Oh yeah, baby. But the reason I love Protea is she's got just a fantastic toolkit. She's got the ability to help out teammates and herself with the shields and the dispensary, plus the turret, and don't let anyone tell you different. It is a turret, is fantastic. I love turret gameplay just in general. And she's a time traveler. I mean, she is the engineer from TF2, plus she time travels. It's perfect, man.
Have you used the Warframe trade chat system to buy anything before?
Yeah, so I've never actually used it, so I can't talk about it from experience, but I can talk about it conceptually. That being said, I'm not against it. People want to buy and sell plat external from the Warframe client, or even, you know, within the Warframe client in chat. I haven't got anything against it. It's a great way, I guess, for people to earn platinum without having to spend real world money. You know, they're spending their time instead to grind for this stuff that they can sell for plat. That's fine. I have heard from a couple people that some people get exploited through that system. I can't comment on that because I haven't experienced it at all myself.
What inspired you to make this YouTube channel?
Oh man, this is a wild ride. Okay, so straight out of high school, I went into a music course. So through that, I had to buy some recording equipment so I could play around with some of the stuff that we were learning in the course. So I ended up with, in fact, this very microphone. I've had this for 9 years. 8-9 years now. Wow. This is a Rode NT1S. So all while this was happening, I was watching Skyrim coverage or like hype videos leading up to Skyrim because I was really excited for the release. And then when it actually dropped, I was watching some like build videos, and I actually can't remember exactly or who it was. I just remember watching Skyrim videos. And I thought, this is really cool. I really love Skyrim, and I've already got some recording equipment, so I'll just give it a go. So I made some build videos and maybe I think a couple Let's Play episodes, and then just kind of Forgot about it. Then I come back 6 months later and find that I've got like thousands of views on my videos. And I'm like, oh shit, let's do this. So then I launched myself into Skyrim content. That's how the channel grew. That's how it started.
What would you consider your resting baseline level?
Out of his gourd is not incorrect. So as always, it's a rating out of 8. So I'm going to say resting pog level, a 3.
Best favorite character of all video game history.
Ooh, that's a tough one. Maybe Geralt? I know he might come across a little generic. So who else have we got? I really liked Rex from Mass Effect as well. Can I have a few? Geralt, Rex. I'm gonna throw in like Cephalon Sai as well for my Warframe peeps.
Play sorties for a week or do another solo Eidolon run.
Sorties maybe? I mean, all right, you got to think about this. I actually have done a sortie with my buddy Stevens. I think it was last week, and we completed it. It was fine. It wasn't too much of a problem. So sorties aren't that much of an issue. I don't know, dude. Like, we'll go with the sorties. We'll go with the sorties for now. We'll get to the Eidolons eventually, but for now, sorties for a week. Let's go.
How you doing today, big man?
Hey, look, I'm going pretty well. You know, I'm enjoying doing this Q&A. Thank you, everyone, for throwing in your questions. It's going to be a good day. It's going to be a busy day, I tell you what. But it's going to be a good day.
What's your favorite Star Wars movie?
Oh, that's a good question. Empire Strikes Back. Beyond a shadow of a doubt. The prequels, though. See, I was a prequel kid. I actually didn't like Star Wars. I preferred How weird is this? As a child, I preferred Star Trek to Star Wars. But then the prequels came out and I started liking Star Wars. And then I went back and watched the original trilogy. And then I'm like, oh, no, wait. This is dope, though. So Empire Strikes Back, beyond a shadow of a doubt, the absolute best Star Wars movie. Other than that, like Revenge of the Sith.
What's your favorite pizza?
I'm Italian, so think twice before you answer. Well, so am I. So don't even trip. Oh, favorite pizza. So it depends if I'm getting it from a pizza shop or if I'm making it myself. Yes, I make my own. If I'm getting it from a shop, since I've been making my own, I've kind of been dissatisfied with, store-bought pizza. But a margarita, like you can never go wrong with a margarita. It's just satisfying and not too heavy. I love it. When I'm making it myself though, this is how we do it. Sauce, fresh spinach, yes, salami, pancetta, mozzarella on top. Oven, hello. Friggin' beautiful pizza, not to toot my own horn, better than anything you'll get in the store. No pineapple.
How are you feeling today?
I'm doing pretty good. We're talking about pizza, we're talking about Star Wars. What more do you want?
Have you played Shin Megami Tensei?
This is a very timely question. I recently looked into Shin Megami Tensei because everyone's talking about it and I'm like, what even is it? I don't get it. So I looked into it and I found out that Persona is a spin-off of Shin Megami Tensei, right? Is that am I correct in that? I've played Persona 5. I haven't beaten it, but it's a really long game, man. But I really, really liked it and it's absolutely on my list to beat someday soon because I really enjoyed what I've played so far. I think I've gotten up to the 4th palace in Persona 5. So I like Persona 5. Persona is a spin-off of Shin Megami Tensei. Plus Shin Megami Tensei has been described as Pokemon for adults. So I think I might have to play Shin Megami Tensei. Like there's a new one coming out, right? Is it a remake or like a new game? I'm not sure on that. You guys let me know in the comments because I'm interested in playing Shin Megami Tensei.
How would you describe Warframe in 10 words?
Very good looter shooter with much personality and heavy pog.
Some more music content, please.
Yo! Alright, look, I love to see this sort of thing. I really want to put more music content on the channel. I'm just figuring out the best way to do that. So I want to link music and gaming as much as possible. I don't want to do what I've done in the past, which is just here's some gaming content and then a random music video, I want to link it somehow. So I'm actually thinking about some videos I can do to bridge gaming and music to kind of ease a little more into doing occasional music. It's not going to be like the dominant content on the channel, but maybe once a month we do a music related video.
What is your opinion on eggs?
I am very pro egg. I actually tend not to eat a lot of them, but when I do, I friggin' love them, man. I am a sunny side up kind of guy. I like it runny, but not too runny. Just I want a little bit of like goo in there. An egg in a burger is heavy top tier. Very pro egg. Scrambled in the morning. Ooh, I don't have it often, but when I do, ooh.
So what made you interested to do Warframe content on YouTube?
Yeah, okay, so like I said earlier, I started the channel with Skyrim and then Fallout 4 when that released, and then I got burnt out on both games and decided to move on to new games. But because I was known as like a Bethesda YouTuber, essentially, it was difficult for me to find an audience outside of Bethesda games. So I'm always looking for new stuff, and I actually struggled with, like on and off with that sort of thing for a while. I would find a game I like, but it didn't do well. Or I found a game that did well, but I didn't like it. Or I found a game that I liked and did well, but then like the content kind of just dried up. Like you run out of ideas, or it's not the sort of game that allows you to make evergreen content. I played Warframe a couple years ago and I didn't not like it, but I got lost and I didn't really understand what was going on. So I played it for a bit, then took a break, then tried to come back to my account and was like, I have no idea what I'm doing. The star chart is open to me and I have no idea where to go, right? So I made a new account and this time, man, I got it. So I released my first Warframe video, which was like, what was it called? Like, why haven't I played this before? Or something like that. And it did well. And I'm like, oh shit, I've actually found a game that I enjoy and people want to watch. And just the further I went into it, the more I enjoyed the game and then also making content for the game. It is that perfect balance of a game I enjoy, a game people enjoy watching, and a game that offers up enough content that I can make video after video after video. There's clear progression in the game, and there's clear progression in the videos that I want to make for it.
Why do you have so much plant and you refuse the potato?
I'm sorry. I am horrible with too good to use syndrome. I hold on to things way too long when I should be using them. But yeah, I'll spend some plat eventually / soon. I want to hold on to it for a little bit just to make sure I have enough slots for all the Warframes, because I am going through every single Warframe to then do the tier list. So I want enough slots to fill with Warframes and weapons and whatnot, and then maybe a little bit left over to get some cosmetics, and then I'll spend the rest on potatoes.
Why mace?
Look, mace it's so beautiful in many different ways. Firstly, it's a sculpture. It's like a work of art in and of itself. Like a really nice ornate mace is beautiful. Plus, it's scary, man. Like you come running into the battlefield with a friggin' mace and people are like, what the fuck's up with him? what's he doing with that thing, You know what it is? A lot of it has to do with Lord of the Rings. That opening scene with Sauron, like straight up mowing elves and men down with his big dirty mace. That is heavily responsible for me loving maces so much.
What is objectively the best weapon in the universe? And why is it the mace?
Well, look, we've already talked about my salacious, indecent lust for the mace. It's a beautiful, simple instrument of destruction. Again, yeah, like it's simple. There's nothing fancy about it. It's a friggin' ornate ball on a stick and you hit things with it. It's primal and yet beautiful. I don't know. It's wonderful. Anyway, am I going to eat that? Probably, yeah.
What's 9 plus 10?
That's 10T9.
What is the definition of life?
69. Alright guys, thank you very much for watching. I had a lot of fun recording this video. It's actually something I've wanted to try for quite some time, so I'm really glad that you guys suggested it and that you guys actually came to the party and you sent me your questions. Hugely appreciative of that. I would be interested in maybe doing this again in a little while, maybe once every few months or so we can do a Q&A video. So in that case, I'm going to get you to ask your questions for the hypothetical next Q&A video in the comments of this video right here. I'll gauge how many questions we get. Maybe we'll wait until we get a certain threshold of questions, and then we'll look at doing another one if you guys are interested. But for the moment, thank you again very much for watching. Be excellent to each other, and I'll see you next time. Ricky Summer, out.